Hello, good day. Welcome to another edition of your favorite current affairs program on television, The Point of View, right here on Citi TV. My name is Duke Mentopoko, sitting in for your regular host, Bernard Koku Avle. So exactly 2 weeks ago, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, took the power of residents of Yilo and Manya Krobo in the eastern region over a protracted impasse about the payment of electricity bills and what kind of meter should even be used to regulate the consumption of electricity in that part of the country. But this follows long history of an impasse between the ECG and residents of that community. In this edition, we'll be exploring the undercurrents, where we've come from, why we are here, and what the way forward is. I'll take a break. When I come back, I'll introduce my guests who will be helping us unpack the issues, and then we'll delve into the weightier matters of the Krobo blackouts and how to resolve it. Stay with us. You're welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Of course, the show is live and interactive. You can join us via the WhatsApp line 0550585832. You can join us also via the Facebook stream. Drop your comments down below. We'll read them for you. So joining me in the studio to give us a better appreciation of the issues is a former director of energy consulting and telcos business at the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, Mr. Asante Dako Theophilus. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
I've also been joined by Mr. Apiakusi Adomako. He is the West African Director for CATS International. That's a consumer protection civil society. He will also be helping us appreciate these issues from the viewpoint of a consumer protection advocate, if I may put it that way. Also joining us is our regional correspondent for the Eastern region, Neoni Amate Kanakus, joining us via Zoom. He's actually in the community. He's been there all day because this is a very fast-paced story that is developing each and every minute. Of course, we'll also be joined by the ECG. That's also the other party in this vexed matter. So let's bring some context to this, at least in the recent past, since June, when the ECG decided to install prepaid meters in the Krobo enclave, that's Yilo and Manya Krobo, where there was some resistance. So, of course, it started in June, where the lower Manya Krobo residents marched. There was a protest to kick against the ECG's decision to install prepaid meters there. Later, the ECG justified the use of the military in a prepaid meter installation in Krobo area. So, when they were moving in to do the installation, they were doing that with the support of military men. So the member of parliament for the area, Ebenezer Telabi, made a statement on the floor of parliament, and consequent to that statement, the speaker, the second deputy speaker, who was in the chair, gave an order to the ministers for defense and energy to ensure the withdrawal of the soldiers from the enclave, where they were being used for the installation of the prepaid meters. So in July, that's just ended month, police officers were deployed to Krobo land amidst protests over the prepaid meters. Then the residents cried out to the ECG after days without power. That was in July. And then the ECG, later on, also the MP was in the news for what they term as illegal connection. The Energy Ministry earlier this month set up a committee to mediate power supply tensions, and then the ECG later said they would restore power to Krobo land after safety and network issues are addressed. There was a boycott by senior staff of the ECG implementing this installation of the prepaid meters. They got some backing from the mother union, that is PUL, the Public Utilities Workers Union. And then there was a petition from the Yilo Krobo Municipal Chief Executive to the ECG over the power cuts. And of course, today we are learning that the Eastern Regional Security Council is scheduled to meet. In fact, there have been a series of meetings in that part. Today, actually, there was a meeting, a stakeholders meeting, where there was representation from the Jubilee House, we are told, to try and resolve that matters. So where is the issue at the moment? Our Eastern Regional Correspondent is on Zoom and is joining us, Neoni Amate Kanaku. Welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
So what's the latest? Tell us.
So the latest is that today at exactly 1 p.m., a delegation from the Jubilee House went to meet I would say, quite a number of people in the Lower Manya enclave. Now, we shouldn't forget that this issue has really been at the Lower enclave since the Yellow people are saying they are ready to accept the prepaid metering installation. So a delegation from the Jubilee House today met some divisional chiefs, that is Nene Zogli, who happens to be the Pengwa Manche. Last month, he led a demonstration, if we could quite remember, in that particular, a huge, large demonstration in that particular area where quite a number of divisional chiefs also joined in that particular demonstration against the installation of the prepaid meters, and then the detachment, that is military detachments, who are assisting the Electricity Company of Ghana in installing this prepaid meters in the area. So the message from the delegation, that is which was led by Robert Tekefio, who happens to be the head of recovery of assets at the presidency, indicated that they were there. They've been sent there to engage the people and let them know why the need for them to accept the prepaid meter installation, why they need to pay electricity bills, since ECG is only a form of giving out the power that they also purchase from the producers. So that was what happened there, and from the chiefs and then the people in the area, they indicated clearly that this is not the right time for the prepaid meter installation. The Pengwa Manche, who happens to chair that particular function today, called out to his residents, like in an open statement, asked them, "Do you want the prepaid?" And then they replied, "No, we don't want it." So that was actually what happened. But another engagement also went in today, which happens to be from the Yellow area, who are saying that they have been victims of this particular power outage in the area. Okay. Now, they are really worried because majority of residents in Yellow have accepted the prepaid meter installations. Now, when the news team went there last week, Wednesday, we saw a number of these meters installed in various homes and then even in shops. And currently, they have them. They bought airtime onto them. They bought unit onto them. And currently, they still don't have electricity. Okay. But the Lower enclave are saying this is not the right time for the Electricity Company of Ghana to install prepaid meters in the area. The community members are one. That is what they are saying. The divisional chiefs are also saying same on this regard.
But why do they not want the installation of prepaid meters? What is the reason? Why?
So there is a number of issues. One is they want ECG to totally write off the debt, which happens to be, this particular issue of a billing issue came in. Yeah. And from
when Amewu was the Minister for Energy.
Yes. So a lot of engagement in 2017 where they started the agitations. 2019 demonstration was held, and then Thomas, a 24-year-old guy, was shot, and then these demonstration agitations continued. So management met, a lot of stakeholders, engagement went on, and ECGC decided to ring fence those debts and ask them to pay from 2017 to date. Now, what the residents are saying is from the 5-year moratorium given to them to pay the ring fence debt, they are saying they want an outright cut of it. They don't want to pay anything because they believe that management of ECG. It's no fault of them, but it's the fault of management of ECG. That's where they are now. So they are calling on ECG to take off the debt so that they start everything on a clean slate. That is what they are saying. Secondly, they are saying that current economic hardships in the country and all over the world has been recorded is making things very difficult. According to them, there's no avenue for them to generate money in the Krobo enclave. There are no factories there where the youth will work. So if you go there, you realize that quite a number of them are sitting idle. Majority of them is this shop business that those who have been able to afford are doing. So they are saying it will be very difficult for them to purchase a prepaid on a daily basis just because current economic situations has not been favorable for them in that particular area.
But if it is postpaid, they will be able to pay.
According to that's what they are saying. They are saying that if it's postpaid, by almost they will do some knockabouts, and then at the end of the month, at least they will get something to pay on that level. But if they have, and they also have this notion that just as it's been alleged that some service telecommunication service networks have been doing that, when you purchase airtime, you didn't know what you did with airtime, but before you realize you don't have any airtime on your mobile phone. They are alleging that they believe that is what ECG wants to do. That's why they are pushing the prepaid meter installation. So with this alleged overbilling issue, they believe that anytime they go to purchase this credit for their ECG meters, it's going to happen that within the shortest possible time, ECG would consume everything on the meters, which would be a form of retrieving what is being owed them according to ECG. Okay. So that is another notion coming from the people in that particular enclave. Okay. Now we should know that everything has come to a standstill in that particular area. Businesses, in terms of education, in terms of health, yes. In terms of social events, now people cannot even have funerals or weddings or engagements or other social events in that particular enclave because of this power cut to the area. So a lot of activities are on the hold.
I'll come back to you. So we take we'll do a deeper dissection of the impact on the community, education, health, and even business impact on all of that. But let me come in studio and begin with you, Mr. Asante Darko. You have lived in the area. You have an understanding of the issues. I want us to begin from this notion, widely held notion in the area, that because of the contribution of natives towards the hydroelectric dam that we have, there was an agreement between the community and the first president of the country for some waiver or for some moratorium of some sort on electrical power consumption and payment.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if I can extend or express my condolences to Bernard. Yeah. Bernard would have been here. Yeah. Bernard, we condole with you. It's a very difficult time for him to be in, but we pray the Lord will comfort him. Yeah. What you are asking is the root of this whole thing. Issue, yeah. Because you ask a question. If they say they don't like prepaid meter, will they pay for the postpaid meter? And that is a question I've been asking myself. Why don't you like prepaid meter? It's because there is this notion that there is an alleged MOU between Kwame Nkrumah and the elders of the Krobos, that after 50 years of construction or commissioning the Akosomo hydroelectric power plants, Krobos should not pay electricity bill. For the past 5 years, the chiefs have asked this youth, the United Krobo Foundation people who started this wild allegation, produce a copy of the MOU, and we, the chiefs and the elders, will follow it up and actualize it. Yeah. Nobody has produced that. And I've said on a number of platforms that a number of Krobos have had very high positions in the energy sector, including our own Honorable Bojaja, who was the energy minister. He hasn't seen this document. At a point in time, Honorable Setekbe was the acting minister when Honorable Kwabrandonko resigned. He hasn't seen it. Engineer Kofi was one of the longest serving CEOs of VRA. He is from Krobo. He's a pure-blooded Krobo. He hasn't seen it. I mean, please. Now the youth turned themselves and said, look, even if our forefathers, and I'm using our because I'm also a native, if our forefathers didn't sign anything with Kwame Nkrumah, they want to sign something now. So at the bottom of this whole thing is that thing. And it's been ingrained in the spirits of a lot of the people. Some even think maybe one day, that so-called MOU will surface. So if you go and pay electricity bill now, and it surfaces sometime, you probably would have been cheated. So at a point in time when we were continuing our engagement, they said we should stop talking about that. Because it's very flimsy, it is wild, it is speculative, and investigations show that some elderly people planted that thing. And they themselves have never been able to show any document, whether or nothing. So the whole impasse is built around this, issue. That is, the problem.
So if it does not have, if there's no basis to this.
There's no basis.
How did the 2017 issue of overbilling arise?
Fantastic.
Which was then the trigger. Someone died, a young man lost his life, and then it's been rolling on till now when all of a sudden this matter is up again.
Good, fantastic. Just 2 minutes. In 2012, 2013, and over the period, there's been these SHIP projects across the country.
Okay. That's self-help
electrification project across the country. So the Krobo area also benefited from self-help electrification projects. And I've told people that I went home once and I saw a meter behind my window connected to no wires. And so where from this meter? I said, my cousins, they were distributing meters and we also went for some. You probably would have heard about political meters. Somebody said it in Kumasi some time back and it nearly created a problem. So those days, SHEP meters were not passing through the ECG system. Really? It goes through the political system, ends up with assemblymen, MCEs, and all that. So ECG will now have to chase those meters
to be able to put them into their system. And is it the same meters that, for the thing about a year or so ago in the Auditor General's report, some officials of ECG were indicted for some of them that had been imported and were still in the warehouse. That's a different matter.
Issue. Okay. This one normally is state-sponsored project.
Okay.
The government will work with ECG. So these 3, 4, 5, 10 communities, we want to help them get electricity. There are certain criteria that the communities must meet. You must be within some kilometers from the network and all this and all that. Krobo area benefited from it. Now, when the meters are installed, it takes time for ECG to map the area and then to look for the meters. It's just like you've misplaced your key. There's no way you can find it unless you go house to house.
Okay.
So between 2013, 2014, ECG had to go looking for those meters. Meanwhile, the customers were already consuming. So in the meantime, the meters were running. So around 2016, when the bills, we call it maiden bills, when the maiden bills were generated, some of the bills became huge. Around that time, ECG was also replacing the old billing system, which is called was called CBI, as the Customer Billing and Information System, with the World Bank sponsored CMS, the Customer Management System. It had serious initial implementation challenges, which all of us know about. PURC stepped in, asked ECG to stop, and then do the software thing. Nana Jantwa was then the PR. So the combination of these two things, the maiden bills after the SHEP project in 2014, 2015 era, and then the CBIS, the data migration problem, created this overbilling and all that. Meanwhile, the data migration thing was across the country. I was in Parliament with the ECG team when Honorable Muntaka brought bills from Asawasi. People were billed 10,000. But the ECG system, we pass adjustment. When you are overbilled, we pass adjustment to clean it. And this thing has been done. I can say on authority, the issue that happened in the Krobo area and indeed the entire country, ECG took steps to clean the data.
Okay.
Still, the youth group, and it's actually they are not a youth group, a lot of them are even older than me. They are claiming that that old accumulated bill is still in it. And we are saying that out of the 24,000 customers in the Krobo enclave, if there are individuals who have that problem, let them go to ECG
and resolve it.
And resolve it. The MCE for Ilo Krobo went on air and invited people who genuinely believe they have that problem to bring their bills for resolution. Nobody went. So people are just bundling it, hasty, generalization. ECG people have stolen our money. ECG people have overbilled us. Bring the overbilling, let us sort it out.
So that
the
solution dealt with
ECG,
on a case-by-case basis.
On the case-by-case, indeed. There is no customer there called Krobo Land.
Okay.
Every customer is an individual with his individualized meter.
Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Adumakukisi, on first of all, when you have a consumer who has this latent, laden mindset, it could be cultural, could be historical, well, as what we've been told by Mr. Santidako, that they don't have to pay for a service that is being offered to them, and you have a situation where the service provider now has taken power for 2 weeks. Its impact on businesses, its impact on general well-being of society. From the consumer protection point of view, it will be far-fetched to ask who is right, who is wrong. But what are the issues that jump at you from from what has been going on for the past 2 weeks?
Okay, thank you very much. First, I'd like to say that when people need electricity in their households, they apply as a household, or even within a shop. If you need a meter, you apply as an individual unit. And so when people are refusing to accept a prepaid meter, the best that the ECG could have done is to take them off from the grid, the individuals who are refusing, than to take away the whole community, the whole Krobo land, because there are some people who need electricity and they are willing to pay for it and get their prepaid meter. So I think that the ECG action, by disconnecting the whole community, is like using a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito. I think ECG could have done it better with that regard. And also, I also say that electricity is a service that ECG buys power from other independent power producers. And at the end of the day, ECG will need to pay for the power that it has purchased. And how will ECG be able to pay for those powers unless those consumers who have utilized the services pays ECG? But here is the case. People are saying that there is an unwritten or unseen agreement. Even granted that thing was true, I mean, my father will tell you that when they were the investees in the 60s and 80s and 70s, they were getting 3 square meals daily plus lunch and snack break. And they will stock your rooms with everything that you needed. But at the time that our economic crisis changed, we realized that it was not possible for those things to be sustained. And so from the state paying for the full cost of education now led us to what? Cost sharing. So we should not be unmindful of the fact that things have changed, even granted that that agreement was even signed. But I think that if that agreement was signed, maybe we may need to go to the National Archives
to find out
the
agreement,
and also who is also a very much also. If you say there's any agreement, Kwame Nkrumah and his energy ministers are no longer around. So those who are claiming, the burden of proof lies upon them to bring those agreements. Because look, if what they are saying is true, then every business, VACO and all companies will decide to go to the Krobo land, and everybody will go there because that place, when you live there, you don't pay for electricity.
Power. Okay, I'll come back to you, but we need to take a break. When I come back, we'll delve into the other associated issues, and then we'll look for a solution to this. Stay with us. You're welcome back. This is still The Point of View right here on Citi TV. So we're still discussing the blackout in the Krobo enclave, trying to understand what it is and what can be done for a community to be out of power for 2 weeks, with its impact devastating on health, education, social life, business, and all of that. I've been joined on Zoom by the PRO of the ECG in the Tema region, Madam Sichua Mensah. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you.
Yes. So
thank you.
Yes. So let's for the purposes of clarity, from the end of the ECG, why is it that for the past 2 weeks, residents of Yilo and Manya Krobo do not have lights?
That's for safety reasons, basically.
And if you say safety reasons, what does that mean? Workers do not feel safe to go about their work to man the machines and the equipment that will give the light. What exactly do you mean by safety reasons?
Okay, so by safety, we mean exactly what you said, and also for the safety of the life and property of the consumer. One of the panelists, Mr. Santidako, is a former boss. Hello, sir. Good evening. The other gentleman, I'm not sure of his name, he was talking about us disconnecting individual customers who did not want the prepaid meters. Indeed, that was part of the roadmap, and that was what we're doing. However, we had an outage about 3 weeks ago in parts of Lower Manya Krobo municipality, and we were working to restore the power. It was a work in progress. So some of the areas were able to restore the power. Some other areas, it was still work in progress. Now, while work was ongoing for us to be able to restore the power, we realized that some of the communities had on their own started connecting to transformers in other communities which were on. We are talking of transformers, not individual household meters. They were connecting transformers. So let's say Citi TV, you are at Adabraka. Adabraka goes off, and then Adabraka, the whole township of Adabraka connects to, what is the closest area?
Maybe Ridge. Maybe Ridge or, yeah.
Yes, so the entire Adabraka connects to Ridge. Now, we all know that before a transformer is placed somewhere, we do what we call the energy audit to ensure that the transformer that's placed there can manage the energy demands of that particular area. Now, if you on your own decide to interfere with this arrangement, you do not know the extent of possible damage that you may end up causing. Now, they were doing these connections, even connecting to high tension poles as well. So one day we decided that we were going to monitor to ensure that whatever they had done, mind you, this is an unauthorized entry into the network, and we consider that as illegal. So we wanted to monitor what they had done to sort of know how quickly we could resolve some of the interferences they had done. Our staff and some military men went to the field, and this happened in Pouno. Some of the residents started pelting stones at our people. Some were burning ties. They didn't want our people to even leave. We also have this issue of a fiber cable which has been cut in Pouno. we have a third-party contractor, Vobis. Vobis had 2 of their employees who went to the field to try to mend this cut fiber cable. But they were told by the residents that if they dared attempt to work on the cables, they would be beaten up. So they also had to leave without being able to fix the fiber cable. Yeah. Now, the safety issue here is because of the interferences that have happened, all this transformer and high tension connections and all of that, ECG cannot guarantee that the power that will get to the end user would be safe.
Okay.
And our mandate is to provide safe electricity as much as possible. Now, we could provide the power, but what if we end up causing fire in, let's say, 15 homes at a go? What if we end up causing burns to, say, 100 people at a go? What if we end up killing people? So the safety issue here is not just for the ECG staff and our equipment, it is also for the end user. Now, it is rather painful that there are other customers who are not part of this issue. I mean, they've been supportive, especially the customers in Yilo Krobo and some parts of Lower Manya as well. They've been very supportive. The prepaid installation had been going on well and all of that. But our system is networked. It is interlinked. So whatever happens in one corner may have an indirect and a potentially dangerous situation on another aspect. We are not sure of the integrity of our system because we are not able to go to the field to monitor our systems. We are not able to work. We are not able to, I mean, we basically don't have a safe working environment. So our field workers have been going to work, for instance, since this outage happened 2 weeks ago. They've been going to work all right, but they are in the district office. They are unable to go to the field. Now, this fear we have, some might think that, oh, it's nothing. We are just talking. No. Some of our staff have been beaten. Some have been pelted with stones. This has been ongoing. I mean, for a very, very long time, it's been ongoing. Every now and then, we'll get some assurances here and there that, oh, it's peaceful and all of that. Our staff would go to the field and they'll come back with painful stories.
Okay.
Now, if
Madam, just a question. What was the level of compliance when this exercise started with the backing of the military, and how is it following their withdrawal? Would you say that has played any role in where we find ourselves currently?
The military has not been withdrawn.
Okay.
The military are still on site.
Despite Parliament's order to the Minister of Energy and Defense to withdraw these military officers?
Like you said, the order was to the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Interior. I do not exactly, and I cannot speak to that.
Okay.
So, as far as we are concerned, now these are not, how do I put it? These are soldiers who are engineers. They are professional engineers.
Okay.
They are from the 49th Field Engineers Regiment. Now, between the ECG and the Ghana Army, we've had a long-standing relationship over 2 decades where we provide training and refresher programs to them via our ECG training school in Tema. So this is not like a new arrangement. And of course, in other jurisdictions, we do not install prepaid meters with the support of security agencies.
That's the question. Yeah. People are alleging intimidation and brutalizing people and all of that.
We are allowed to work freely.
Okay.
In other areas, we are allowed to work freely. We have the peace of mind to work. For instance, last Friday at Akuse Junction, one of our high tension high tension poles, it was cut. We realized it on Friday morning. The same Friday, we made a police case. The police are handling the investigations. That same Friday, at Akuse Junction, we were able to remove the debris of the cut high tension pole. We were able to erect a new pole. We were able to redo all the cable works on that same Friday. And by late afternoon Friday, we had been able to restore power to those communities. We had been able to do it, because we have a safe working environment. In other places, when we are installing prepaid meters in a single day, we can do as much as 400 meters, 500 meters. But in the Krobo district, when we started the installation, for 2 months, 2 whole months, we had been able to install 250 meters because of the constant interferences and the resistance. Now, you were also asking about the general atmosphere with regards to the installation since we started. In areas like Pong, it has been cordial. It was cordial. In areas like Somanya, Sra, it was cordial. The Yilo Krobo municipalities, it was very cordial. The major issue had to do with Pouno and parts of Noaso.
Okay. All right. Mr. Adumaku, you had a concern about the approach, initially indicating that, separate the bad nuts from the good ones. If you have specific issues concerning certain people, take them off. Don't let the entire community face the brunt of what. He's saying that the system is networked, and essentially, if they do not have that safe environment, they cannot work.
Yes, I think UCG staff need a safe environment to be able to discharge their duties. And if you go to any environment which your life is being threatened, you need to find a way to exit that place. However, we should not, we should separate issues of criminal element.
Okay.
So when somebody wants to attack you, it's a criminal offense. And let the law enforcement agencies do that, because there are other people who would be happy to see UCG staff coming to their household to install their meters. And those people should not be denied access to electricity. So I think the approach, the one-size-fits-all approach, by disconnecting them from the grid, to me, I think it's not best for the people of Krobo. Because if I were to be living there and to be without electricity for 2 weeks, I don't know how I could survive in those environments. So I can just identify myself. But of course, there are other underlying issues that we should also not forget it, that there are some elements of people in the area who are trying to make the area ungovernable for UCG. And that for those people, we have the police, we have the military. And once you deploy them there, and if anybody try to obstruct the installation of a meter or trying to commit any assault or vandalization of property, those people can be arrested and put before court. And once they are taken to court and they go to jail, I'm sure that it will send a signal to the rest of the people. But I think also that the way things are going, by trying to use the full show of force might not help. Maybe it will be good to step back a little bit. Let's start a process of trying to overcome the misinformation and the disinformation that has seeped into the community. Yeah. Let's use dialogue and consultation. That look, electricity must be paid for. Because look, if you don't have, now that there are no electricity and you are using kerosene, you go to the filling station and get a kerosene free.
Yeah, last week Friday there was a shortage of fuel products in the enclave, because everybody is turning to petrol to power their generators and all.
Yes.
to keep their businesses running and others.
And even using candle is even more expensive than the electricity that you are paying. So I think these are some of the narratives and the conversations that the ECG, the Ministry of Energy, the National Commission for Civic Education, the Ministry of Local Government and the chiefs can engage the people for them to understand the fact that it's still cheaper to use the electricity and it's still cheaper to pay for electricity because here, now that there are no electricity there, it's causing economic losses to the community. Just last week or so, people were writing BEC. Candidates could not have access to electricity. And what I'm sure this is going to affect their performance. And businesses that are using electricity, like the co-stores and the sawmill, and all of those people can no longer be able to operate. So I think that for now, maybe the militarization and those things, they can put things on hold, use a period of 2 weeks to intensify engagement. Not on the side of the ECG to compromise, because what ECG is doing is right.
Okay.
You are taking electricity, you must pay for it. Period.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break. When I come back, we'll look at the solutions. Stay with us. You're welcome back. This is still the point of view. Let's bring in some of your messages. Stephen, sending this one from Etua, says, the roots of the problem is not about the contracts with VRE. Krobos have been paying electricity bills since ECG and VRE were established. The root problem is with the overbilling from the faulty software of ECG. Krobos refused to pay the estimated and overbilled bills from ECG, and this has accumulated till today. Okay. Francis Acte from Winneba says, Krobos, we are paying electricity bills. Okay, we're paying electricity bills until the overbilling. The overbilling is the cause of all these. The Akosombo issue came in because of the whole issue. Why is ECG forcing people to pay for their own mistake? Okay. Military men with gun fixing meters are the guns engineering equipment. So that's like a pushback to the comments from Madam Sichwa meant on the engineers rather fixing this issue, fixing the prepaid meters there. Mr. Santidako, you have led such negotiations before. You have a deeper understanding of the issue. From the technical viewpoint of the ECG, we've heard Madam Sichwa's, explanation of why we are here and the approach that is being used. Let's begin to look at the solutions now. How can we have a Krobo land that has light without all of these issues?
Thank you very much. When you go on the ground, they talk about the MOU.
Yeah.
People are denying it, but that is the root of the issue. So that has been debunked. Overbilling, it's individualized. If you think your bill has not been sorted out, go to ECG. They will sort it out for you. Number 3, they say there is this killing of Thomas Partey in 2019. They must decouple it from this electricity matter.
Okay.
It is a security issue, and I can say on authority that ECG is, ECG can support. But if you make this thing as if, it's a ECG problem, it's an electricity problem, you are rather misfiring. So the police or whichever agency is handling that issue, the chiefs must approach it from that way. Then there is this whole issue about Krobo lands were taken when the Akosombo Dam was created and compensations have not been paid or not adequate. It's also a different matter. So first point of the solution is that let us decouple the issues and get electricity issues standing alone. Overbilling, accumulated bill, it happened. Solutions have been done. If there are individual bills that have not been solved, ECG is there, and I think they will solve it.
So
but
for instance, if you were overbilled,
yeah,
and you paid the money,
yeah,
and you go through the process, ECG
you'll be
comes
credited.
to verify, you'll be credited with
it. As I speak, ECG ring-fenced the 2014 to 2017 bill, which they claim had the problem.
Okay.
And it's reflecting on the customer statement. So if you take your statement 2014 to 2017, that amount has been removed from it. But people keep talking as if ECG did nothing about it. That has been done, and individuals can testify that even on the bill, some time back, their bill, maybe March or April, it reflected on it. But solution. People are gaining political capital or popularity capital from this issue. Electricity issue in the Krobo area is pure popularity capital by political actors and chiefs. Sechiwa mentioned that most of Yellow Krobo are welcoming it.
Okay, and when we talk about Yellow
and
Krobo,
a portion of
which
Manyakrobo,
towns will we be talking about?
There are 2 towns,
Okay.
Manyakouno,
Okay.
and a portion of Nwasu.
Okay.
Ni Kanaku mentioned the Piemwa chief, Nene Tetezogli, and then the Dom chief, Nene Ba Mwala Bediakon. These 2 chiefs, very respected chiefs, they should tone down, call their people to order.
Okay.
That is where the what do you call it? The melting pot. That is the melting pot. if these two chiefs can see reason to call the youth in the area to order, I can tell you this problem is solved. Again, the political actors, the MPs, should be able to go public, like being here. Honorable Oklete Telabi should be able to come here and condemn what is going on, cutting of poles, call the youth to order. We want to see leadership. But as it stands now, it's popularity capital. If you tell the youth that you are with them, you gain capital. And because it's a game of numbers for both the chiefs and the politicians, nobody wants to infuriate the youth. Because the corner of Manya Krobo, Nene Sakite, the second, he went to say at the Mayim Deba that he has not seen any MOU. Agreement. And if any of his subjects has seen it, they should bring it for him to follow up. The guys insulted him. Debans in Somanya, in Bom, and in Agomenya. They insulted him. Now the Mayim Festival has been diluted because the youth. So a lot of the chiefs
do not want to
dabble in it. Some of the political guys do not want to dabble in it. Some of them are behind it and reaping political capital and chieftaincy capital. Unfortunately, the engineering configuration of the network is such that, yes, individual transformers can be disconnected. And that was what Sechiwa was saying. You disconnect the transformer, the guys go there and reconnect and put everybody at risk.
That's dangerous.
So the solution the ECG has done, which is not right for me, is to take the whole place off under this circumstance. We've done it before. I was right in the middle of it at that time.
It was how many years ago?
No, it was in December.
Okay. Just recent.
No, the 2021 December. They were put off for like 7 days. You understand? When there was a demonstration out of nowhere and saying that they don't want to work with ECG, they want VRA to come and give them power. And I want to say on this August platform, technically and legally, there's no way VRA will come and supply electricity in the Krobo
part of
area.
their mandate.
But that is what maybe your Eastern Regional Correspondent will tell you. That's one of the demands. They don't want ECG, they want VRA to come in. I mean, who is telling them that? I've spoken to the former VRA chief executive. They said they should go to VRA and engage their executives. And they will tell them that the demand you are making
it's not possible.
It's not possible. It's not doable.
Okay. All right.
So, solution?
Yes.
The political actors, the chieftaincy actors must know that they are hurting everybody because of their interest. I rest my case.
All right. Mr. Adwako.
Thank you very much. So I think I'll start from the overbilling issue.
Yeah.
As he's rightly said, overbilling like water or telephone or whatever, whenever there's overbilling, the system is able to notice it and then refund those overbilling and then rebill you the actual one that you have used. For example, if your meter is not being, if you are using postpaid meters and they are not coming there to take the reading, ECG may take estimated readings. Then once the actual reading comes, they refund the estimated reading and then post the actual readings. So I don't think that the overbilling is an issue.
Okay.
And I know very well that the UCG systems will be able to resolve that. But going forward, I think where we have reached, we need to find a way that we can resolve the issues once and for all. And I think it's what? Dialogue, education, and stakeholder engagement. And how do we do this? Before, but let me read as we come to the end of this August program. One thing is that we need to identify all the key stakeholders, both the opposition stakeholders, the protagonists and the antagonists, and even those who are the invisible ones who are leading things from behind. We need to get them to the scene. Let them bring their issues. Let us use evidence to convince them that, look, what you are saying is what is wrong, and these are the facts. Once they come, let them come and make a statement in a public gathering so that their followers will get to know that they have kind of resigned from those extreme opinion. And also as a way of ensuring mutual trust, because it appears that there is a kind of a bloodbath between the ECG and the community. And that is something that we need to find a ways and means to assuage those things. But in the interim, I think that ECG will need to find ways and means to get the community back on track, whilst all those resolution methods also work in line, parallel to whilst the light is on, because we cannot deny people the right to access to electricity, because there are those who urgently need electricity to be able to work effectively and efficiently.
Can I just add something to it? Yeah. In fact, it will be difficult for ECG to go and do that mobilization. But as we speak now, in fact, I'm just coming from Somanya, there is a groundswell of opinion that within the community itself, they should start organizing this public forum so that those people who have those notions, misconceptions, they will put them right. And I want to use this forum to appeal to the managing director and the executives of ECG to kindly and please put on the light after they've done all the integrity assessment of the network, and a lot of work is being done behind the scene, to tone down even the melting pot area of Ponguno and Raso. I want to appeal for the light to come on.
Sechua, if you are still on.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So, on what condition would the ECG put the lights back on? Because that's what we're all looking for.
Once we have a peaceful working environment. And let me also add that we're not forcing anybody, and there's this notion that the military were brought in to force people to accept whatever ECG was saying. No. What we're saying was that if you do not want to accept the prepaid meters, we'll disconnect you. And that was all we're doing. There were some few customers who got disconnected because they claimed they did not want it. Some came to the office to later demand that we should please come and install the meters for them, which we did. Now, we've had several stakeholder engagements, and at this point, in a lot of the interviews I've been granting in recent times, I've been calling on the media. ECG is also calling on the media. Citi FM, you are stakeholders in this. You are part of the media. Let's all learn to talk about peace continuously. Ghana prides itself with being a peaceful nation, that we are one of the best nations in the West African sub-region. But anytime there is an issue of violence or possible chaos in any part of the country, it kind of affects this whole perception of us being a peaceful nation. Now, because of this peace that we do not have, ECG workers do not feel safe. Workers are unable to go to the field. Nobody, if you had a relative working with ECG, I don't think there would ever be a point where you would expect that one day ECG officials would come to you or would call you just to inform you that your relative was deployed in the Krobo area and, the person is dead. That would not be fair. That would definitely not be fair. It's not part of the plan. Now, we have the issue of overbilling and all of that. It was within 2014 to 2016. We have ring-fenced that period. So in all conversations, that particular period, the issue of overbilling and all of that is not even part of the conversation now. Now, if anybody owes ECG, you are given barely 4 months to pay up. In the 4 months, you are paying 70% and 10. Please let me land on this one.
Okay, yes,
but,
quickly.
For our Krobo district, we've given them 60 months to pay up from 2018 to 2021. Right. So this is a huge concession ECG has made. And the truth of the matter is we have all become victims of circumstances. ECG, we are victims in this. The residents, the customers, most of them are also victims.
All right, thank you, Madam Sechua. Which we had time to go on further, but that's our show for this edition. Sechua Science ECG PRO for the Tema region. I had in studio Mr. Santida Akon, former director, Energy Consulting and Telco Business of ECG, West Africa's director for CATS International, Apiakusi Adomako. Happy birthday to him. Decided to spend his birthday on set with us. We appreciate your coming. Of course,
in support to our brother Bernard.
Yeah. And Neil Amate Kanako, I see regional correspondent also so on. My name is Duke Mensopoko. I sat in for your regular host, Bernard Kokwavle. Keep watching Citi TV for the very best in programming.
The Point of View is brought to you by Cowbell Coffee. Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it. South Africa Tourism. South Africa Tourism. Inspiring new ways.